All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Kelvin Troy Johnson Show. We are live here in our brand new studio. We're glad to be here. It's an awesome time to just really make something happen. Our show is about motivation. Our show is about encouragement. Our show is about helping you get somewhere. I don't care if it's in your love life, in your business life, in your you life. Our show is going to help you to achieve your goals. My name is Kelvin Troy Johnson. I'm a speaker, trainer, and author, and this is our inaugural show. If you've never been to our radio station, to our radio dial, we're normally on 91.7 FM, WLFR, but now I really wanted to have a video presence. Because there was some, of course, there's always things that you have to abide by when you're in the studio, when you're playing on someone else's playground. You've got to play ball the way that they want you to play ball. But so what we want to do is have this show to be a show that talks about issues that we're dealing with, talk about issues that we are facing today. I want this show to be a show that really gives you guys some insight as to how to overcome the struggles that you are going through. All right. Now, I know that everyone is going through something. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you live. I was with some multi-millionaires. These guys are rolling in bucks. I was with these guys, and they were in the process of closing a $230 million merger of a healthcare company. And with their company, I was with them, and I had a chance to kind of hang out with them while they were relaxing and while they were just talking. And while they were talking, I realized something. Wow, these guys are rolling in dough. I'm talking like these guys have so much money, it's ridiculous, right? Got a little cold. But so when I was with them and I was listening to them talk. And as I was listening to them talk, I realized something. They got the same problems that regular people have. These guys have problems. One guy was talking about his children. And he was talking about having just a difficult time with his children. Turns out that his wife was unfaithful to him and with someone that they knew. And he decided to leave them at the house and to move out. And he just, it's a whole long story. He actually paid out the alimony and the child support. He decided, the lady knew that she was totally guilty and was going to lose in court. And so he decides that he's going to pay out all of the alimony and all of the child support at one time. He says to her, listen, take this $2.1 million check and go, and don't ask me for anything. I'll see the children regularly. Of course, they're my kids. They were pretty old. They were older, 10, 11, 12, somewhere around there. And so they were pretty big kids, and they were used to having a lifestyle. So he thought to mitigate the problems, he would just leave, but make sure that she couldn't come back over and over and bleed him dry for child support and alimony and all those things. And so when he was calling, he was trying to get back home. He was calling his family, trying to get back home for a fishing trip. But one of his concerns was, how do they feel about dad? He was asked. He actually talked to his ex-wife and asked, is everybody mad at dad for not being there? Is everybody upset that daddy's away and not there? And then he hung up the phone. She said, no, they're fine. Okay, so he hung up the phone, and he says, it's just really difficult having this kind of situation where I have to be gone all the time. I have to be doing deals and all of that. And I'm successful out here, but I'm struggling at home. And I'm listening to this, and I said, man, this guy just closed a 235 or something like that $1 million deal. Just closed a 200. This guy is wealthy, but still has problems. This guy has what most people would consider a charmed life, but he still has tremendous issues. He's got everything that money could buy. If it was a matter of payment, if it was a matter of giving out that money and making sure that things are taken care of, guess what? Things would be taken care of, no problem. But you know what? At the end of the day, there are some problems that you're going to face that money can't buy. Oh, yes, we would all like to have more money. We would all like to have more income. But there are issues that your money can't buy. So the question is, what are you going to do? What are you going to do when you have to face those problems, those insurmountable odds that are against you, those mountains that refuse to move? I know what you're going to do. You're going to start right where you are and do what you can do to build your life and to make that happen, all right? So we're going to talk more about this. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into it. Listen, you got to get my book. I encourage you guys, if you want to connect with me on Twitter at Kelvin Johnson, just at Kelvin Johnson, all right? And this is my brand new book, Build Your Success from the Ground Up, 12 Keys to Getting All You Can with All You've Got Left. If you don't have this book in your library, you are missing something. You can get it right on Amazon, or you can go to the website at kelvintroyjohnson.com. Get the website, get the book, and it's going to help you. This is the kind of stuff that we talk about in the book, what we're talking about today. So I'm going to take a quick break, and when we get back, I just want to talk more about that. I want to talk about overcoming situations, because every single one of us are going to face something at some point in time that we're going to have to get over, and we're going to have to make it happen. So we're going to help you do just that, all right? We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just want to make sure that we're good. I need a timer. Hey. Where's my timer? All right, you ready? All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Kelvin Troy Johnson Show, and we're live here at our brand new studio. I like the name, maybe Grind Time or something like that. I haven't quite named the studio just yet, but hey, listen, if you got a good name, hit me up on Twitter at Kelvin Johnson. At Kelvin Johnson, hit me right there on Twitter, and we will see if you've got a good name. As you guys know, this is our brand new show. This is our very first show. If you're listening to this, you are in for a treat, and you're here at the brand new kickoff of our show, the Kelvin Troy Johnson Show. The Kelvin Troy Johnson Show comes on the radio on Sunday nights at 8 on WLFR. You can catch that at www.wlfr.fm at 8 o'clock on Sundays, 8 o'clock Eastern time on Sundays. And so that's the way we do that. But today we're kicking off our show, that our broadcast show, okay, our live show. And I want you guys to go out and get this book, Build Your Success from the Ground Up. This is me on the back of there, 12 Keys to Getting All You Can with All You've Got Left. All right. You can order that from Amazon. You can get it from my website at kelvintroyjohnson.com. And I encourage you to do just that. So let's talk about that. So what do you do? Now, here's the thing. What I have been able to overcome has been tremendous. I've found, the reason I wrote this book is that I've found that every time I needed to do something, I was ambitious about doing something. Obviously, you guys, this show is for people who want to get somewhere. Okay, if you want to just pick daisies by the wayside, this show isn't for you. But if you want to really get somewhere and make something happen for your life, that's what this show is for. All right. So I discovered, man, that every time I wanted to do something, I would find that either I didn't have enough money, I didn't have enough resources, I didn't know the right people, I didn't have something, and there was a really good reason not to do it. Okay, maybe the wife needed something, the kids needed something, I couldn't get the time off work, or I couldn't get enough employees, or something. There was always something. And so I discovered something, and that is I actually read it one time in the book. Got a little cold, excuse me. I read it in a book one time. The book is called The Lean Startup. The Lean Startup by Eric Ries, and he talked about minimal viable product. The idea is basically the same as this. The idea is create the minimal product that you can create and get it out there to the market. Basically, get started with what you have. All right? Every success that I've had, everything that I've done that has achieved, that has created anything, that has turned into anything, has been with me using exactly what I have and just building upon that. And so when it comes to the question of what are you going to do if all those things happen, the answer is simple. Build your success from the ground up. What do you have? What do you, listen, I know what you don't have. I mean, you can watch CNBC, you can watch Fox, and they'll tell you everything you don't have, won't have, can't have. But the question is, I really want to know from you, what do you have? What do you have to work with? What do you have in your possession that could help you to overcome difficult times that you're dealing with? Before we left, I was talking about the gentleman that I had the chance to hang out with and spend some time with, and he was talking about the tough times that he was having with his family. Multi-millionaire. This guy's got more money than, I'm not going to say, but he's got more money than I don't know who. Probably more money than anybody that I know, right? But he's still got the same problems. He's got the same issues. He's got the same challenges that everybody else has. He's got the same things going on. And so I really believe, he's got trouble. He's got problems with his family, with his kids. And, that's something that I discovered after doing lots of in-home counseling and working with families and youth and all of that. I don't care how much money you have or where your area code, your zip code is, or any of that. Every single person wants to have one thing, at least one thing, and that is to have their children be successful. I don't care who they are. I don't care what nationality they are. And every parent is on the edge of their seat, hoping that their kid is going to turn out well. Isn't that something? I don't care if they're Indian, if they're Japanese, Chinese, African American, it doesn't matter, Korean. Everybody wants a happy family and successful children. So when you don't have that sort of thing, you've got all the things that money can buy. What do you do when you don't have that ability to make that right? Yes, you're going to face some problems, going to face some struggles. But you know what? Here in our show, it is my purpose to help somebody out there to overcome these issues. Now, it happens to be that I'm not just have the background in counseling, but I also have a background in business. Okay. So I could talk to this guy on multiple levels, but what I would say to him and to say to you is, in my book, I talked about this. I talked about, Ben Franklin, and I talked about Ben Franklin as being the guy who's like this guy who I'm talking about, world renowned. I mean, he's a father of a nation. I think they said Ben Franklin's got more patents than anybody else in the world. He's got like the record for patents or something like that. I think maybe the only person close to him might be Thomas Edison. It's like that. Like he's got thousands and thousands of patents, right? He's got all of the things that money can buy. He's got all the success, the things that we call success. But you know what he doesn't have? He didn't have a happy family. He was known as the father of a nation, ladies and gentlemen, but he couldn't father his own kids. His children hated him because he neglected them. He was emotionally disconnected from his children. I never heard about his wife, but I imagine she probably felt the same way. But she's an adult. She could probably go shopping with all that money that he made. Okay. Of course, that doesn't make up for everything, but he could at least, she could make do. Okay. But his children couldn't. And the worst thing you can be is a public success, but a private failure. Don't be a public success and a private failure. Take the time to do something about your situation. So if I was talking to that guy, that business guy, he's got all that money, all that opportunity, he's got all the resources in the world, what would I do? Well, if I were him, I would get home and talk to your kids every single day. I don't know who this is that I'm maybe talking to out there. You're a business guy. You're out there trying to make it. If your family doesn't see it, then it's not there. I had a counselor. I had someone talk to me while I was in counseling. And yes, I was in counseling. Yes, I've been in counselor as a counselor and as a client, and I encourage you to do the same. But while I was there, I was talking to the counselor, and he told me something that changed my life. This counselor happened to be my pastor, okay? And he told me something that changed my life. He said, Kelvin, while you're doing your business, while you're trying to build a life for your family, while you're trying to make something huge happen for the people who you have charge over, don't forget the people that you have charge over. Okay? Don't forget those people who are most important to your success. He told me, he says, don't leave out that. He says, working on your project. Listen to this, guys. Listen to what I'm saying. This today might change somebody's life. He said, while you're working on your projects, don't neglect your family. Don't neglect your wife. Check this out. He said, working on your project is like, and ignoring your wife and your family is like having a mistress in the other room, and they can hear everything that's going on in the other room, but you're totally disconnected from them. They can hear you. They can hear me in there practicing and talking and training and all of that and helping and coaching and going all in that way. They can hear all that. But if I'm ignoring them, it's like I'm with another woman and we're getting it on in earshot of them. Wow. So that was something that I had to pay attention to. And after he finished saying it, my wife was like, that's exactly how it feels. She was like, Hey, so I had to ring it back in. What good is it to make millions of dollars if you're sitting in a place alone with no one to share it with? I got a big 4-bedroom house that I would hate to have to live in by myself. What good is that? All right. We're going to take a quick break, man. We're going, man. Listen, we're going to help somebody out there today. There's somebody out there whose life is in the balance. Your success is in the balance. Your possibility is in the balance. You know, for somebody, what you do today, what you decide to do after hearing this, is really going to change everything for your life. So, all right, so we'll be right back. This is the Kelvin Troy Johnson Show. Ladies and gentlemen, we're at our very first show, getting the kinks out. But guess what? Minimal viable product. We're getting it out there. You've got to get that book. Get this book, Kelvin Troy Johnson Presents Build Your Success from the Ground Up, 12 Keys to Getting All You Can with All You've Got. If you want to send me a question or a tweet, let me know. You can catch me at Kelvin Johnson, at Kelvin Johnson on Twitter. All right? We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, let's get back into it. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Kelvin Troy Johnson Show. We are at Kelvin Johnson on Twitter, at Kelvin Johnson. You can hook up with me, send me a question, send me a tweet. I need some followers. Man, you know, I wasn't an early adopter on Twitter. I got the got the Twitter, and I got it set it up, and they told me that this is something that you should do, and so I got Twitter. I hooked it up, and the only thing is that I didn't do anything with it. I followed a few people here and there, and then I decided to really kind of get into it. And so I've got many more people that I'm following that are following me, but that's going to change because you are going to follow me. Follow me on follow me on Twitter at kelvinjohnson.com. All right. And also you can catch my brand new book. Get my book, Build Your Success from the Ground Up, 12 Keys to Getting All You Can Out of All You've Got Left. And, as I look through this book, I really feel proud. I feel excited. I feel happy that I did it. Now, in this book, I found a couple of mistakes. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, by the time you get one, it won't have the mistakes that, I don't know, maybe it does. But I found when I did my shipment, and I just launched the book last week, okay? So I got my shipment in, and I opened the package and realized that the header on one of the chapters had fallen, and at the bottom of the page. Oh man! 2 days away from the book launch, I had already put the advertising out there. I had already put the all the feelers out there. I had done all the legwork to launching this thing and having it done. We launched it we decided to do something different, and I launched it at a salon and spa. Yeah, we transformed it into a nice, beautiful meeting space, and it was just awesome. Good time with there. But before the thing happened, I opened the book and realized that somehow the header had fallen to the bottom of the page in chapter 3. Oh! And as you might imagine, I'm somewhat of a perfectionist. I want my stuff to be right. I want it to be done correctly. I want it to be done on time. I want it right. Okay? But you know what? It just didn't all come out right. I found a couple of grammatical errors that my editor didn't catch. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? I wrote a book. I wrote a book. And the way that I did this all, guess what? I can go back and correct it, and it's already been corrected. If you get one of these from Amazon, it's already corrected, okay? Only the people who I'm selling to directly around here that I'm autographing for, they are the only ones who are going to get the one with the messed up header. But who knows? That one might be a classic one day. Because when I wrote this book, I had in mind that I wanted it to be a classic. I wanted it to be something that lasts a long time, that would outlast me. I wanted it to be something that was kind of on the line of Think and Grow Rich. I wanted it to be on the line of Norman Vincent Peale's The Power of Positive Thinking. And so I wrote it in big font. I wrote it with like 2 and 3 line paragraphs, 3 sentence paragraphs. I wrote, there's lots of bold print. There's lots of bullet points. Honestly, basically, I wrote it like it was a big sales letter. As far as the architecture of the book, I wrote it so that people who don't read will read this book. All right, and so that's the way it goes. Listen. If I stopped, if I didn't go forward, waiting for things to be perfect, I wouldn't do anything. Ladies and gentlemen, can I tell you, that if I waited for things to be perfect, I would never start. I would never begin. I would never launch. But I'm not waiting for things to be perfect. I'm getting started right now. And you know what? I believe that you should. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you've got talent, you've got ability, you've got something that the world needs to hear. You've got it. The world needs to see it. The world needs to hear. The world needs to experience you. So today we were talking about attitude, and we're talking about position, and we're talking about thinking about what do you do when you don't know what to do, when you've got all the other things, but you just can't get over this hump. And I'm going to tell you that you can build right where you are. Listen, you can't let circumstances and people and reasons and all these things stop you from becoming. If you do now, you'll always stop. Can you remember maybe the process of riding a bike? Now, for me, I that process was so young. I was so young when I learned. I barely can remember the process, but when I taught my kids to ride bikes, I remember specifically teaching my daughter a few years ago how to ride a bike. Now, she was afraid to just even get on. You know, nowadays, everybody, you got to have a helmet and shoulder pads and arm pads and knee pads and butt pads. And I mean, you know, you got to have all these pads. Okay. But she was afraid to even just get on. I said, just sit on the bike. She says, Daddy, I'm going to fall. I'm not going to let you fall. Just sit. Daddy, I'm going to fall, Daddy. I'm not going to let you fall, honey. Just sit. Okay. So she just sat. I wanted her to get comfortable being in the position of a rider. Okay? So I said, well, let's start moving. No, Daddy, I'm scared. I'm not going to let you fall. We're just going to move. Okay. I wanted her to get comfortable with movement. Okay? She got going, started moving, started riding, started just moving, and I'm pushing her. I said, now, pedal, just pedal. You're not going to be going, oh, Daddy, you're going to make me fall, Daddy. Stop. I think I want to go. I have to go to the bathroom. She always has to go to the bathroom. I have to go to the bathroom. No, you don't. You don't have to go to the bathroom. She said, okay. So she's pedaling, right? And I wanted her to get used to the motion that it takes to get going. I wanted her to get used to the mechanics of what the legs have to do for her to keep moving. So she kept going. And she rolled on with me behind her. And we did this for a couple days. I'm just riding behind her. She's getting used to the motion. Okay? Now, after about day 3, 2.5, maybe at the end of day 2 of this process, I started kind of letting go a little bit. Kind of letting go. And letting go for about a second. Okay? Letting her ride. And she's riding. She's not falling. She's riding. 1 second. Boom. Then I gave her about 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Grab. 1, 2, 3. Grab. Okay? And then I gave her a little longer, and I went through this process. And all along, you know, at one point she was crying while she was riding. While she was going, I let her go. 5 seconds. Then 10 seconds. Right? At about 10 seconds, and she was riding, right? And then turned around and realized I wasn't behind her. Oh, crash, boom. Right on the curb. And she screamed. Ah! I said, let me see it, honey. Skinned your knee? Mwah. Let daddy kiss it, make it better. Daddy kissed it, made it better, put her back on the bike. And she went, no, daddy, I'm done. I have to go to the bathroom. She's always got to go to the bathroom. I said, no, you don't have to go to the bathroom. You have to get on this bike and ride. So she said, okay, daddy. Got back on the bike and rode. And after a while, 20 seconds, I would just ride. I would just jog next to her. Hand, jog. 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Until she didn't need me anymore. And she had such a feeling of elation. Like you could see it on her face. Daddy, I did it. I did it, Daddy. I really did it. I said, honey, I told you you can do it. I believed in you. I knew you could do it. You knew you could do it. She said, I knew I could do it. Ladies and gentlemen, your success is the same way. You've got to believe that you can do it. Take yourself slowly at first. Whatever it takes to get started, put yourself in position to be successful. I don't know what that means for you. Maybe in your business, it might mean getting close to the boss, finding out what the boss's needs are. What are the needs of the company? What are the needs of your industry? What's your industry doing? You could be the go-to person for that. Getting in position. If that means in the relationships, maybe getting in position means going where people who you want to date and want to meet and want to get involved in, go where they spend time. Okay? Get in position. Maybe that means something different for you, for your career, for your life. Get in the place where you can grow and you can achieve what you want to achieve. So then you have to get going. Start the action. There's a lot of people, ladies and gentlemen, who are talking about it. A lot of people who say, I want to be an author. I would love to be an author. Kelvin, how did you do it? I've got these high-level people now who want me to coach them on the process of becoming an author. Why? Because I did it. I'm not just talking about it. I'm not just going, just doing it just because I did it. I did it. I'm not just yapping. I did it. And because I did it, now they know they're coming to me because they know I did it. Okay? So get yourself in position, get the motion. It doesn't have to be perfect. There's too many people waiting for perfection before they get started. There's too many people waiting for things to be properly aligned. The clouds, the sun, the planets, mama, daddy, boss. None of that is important. What is important is you getting started. You don't have to have the best of everything to get started. You don't have to have the top of the line, have everything laid out for you before you start. Journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. I have people who want to get coaching, who want to get, they want to get right here with me. Man, Kelvin, man, I want you to teach me. And I'll give them one step. I'll give them one assignment. One person in particular I'm thinking of, she had a gorgeous idea. It was just gorgeous. She had a gorgeous idea for a product and for a business, really. And on our car ride, we were probably in the car 15 minutes. In our car ride, she laid out for me what she wanted to do. I thought it was a great idea. I gave her I gave her a whole plan from nothing to really killing it, right? I said, but you have to do these things in order to get started. You got to do these things to that'll set you up for all those other things. If you do these things, you're being there. She says, really? I said, yes. And I told her, she said, wow, I need to come back to you more often and talk to you more about what I'm doing. I said, listen, I don't mean to be rude, but don't come back to me if you haven't done these things. If you haven't taken step number 1, don't come back to me asking me about step number 2. All right. It's Kelvin Troy Johnson. All right. Hear it. And you can follow me on Kelvin at Kelvin on Twitter. I'll get it right. Follow me on Twitter. At Kelvin is my handle. At Kelvin Johnson is my handle. At Kelvin Johnson is my handle. All right. So I told her, take step number 1. All the other steps will fall in line. I will help you. Now, I already know that she can't do the other steps by herself. I already know that. But that one step, she can do by herself. So I said, take that one step, and then I will know that you're serious and you want to take the rest of the steps. Haven't heard back from her yet. Take your step. It's not my step. It's not your cousin's step. Do what you can with what you have. That's what the book is all about. That's what our show is all about. All right, ladies and gentlemen, like we're going to get on out of here for today. We're going to wrap it up on our inaugural show, our very first show of the Kelvin Troy Johnson Show, our right here and in Grind Studios. We can call it Grind Time Studios. I don't know, something like that. We'll come up with something. But I started, ladies and gentlemen. It's not perfect. It's not idyllic. The next time you see this show, you'll see more. You'll see different. You'll see, start to see some things shifting and adding to and taking away, and things will get better. Some things will improve. But you know what? You know what the most important thing is? Somebody say, what's the most important thing? The most important thing is, I want to look deeply into your eyes when I tell you this. The most important thing is this. I got started. And it's time for you to get started too. All right? All right, so check it out. I have a 7-day success training course, the same one that you will get when you get the book. But I would love for you to go ahead, go to Amazon, get the book. You can go to my website at Kelvin Troy Johnson, get the book. You can sign up at kelvintroyjohnson.com for the 7-day success training course. We're going to take you on the ride of your life, for your life. And we're going to make that happen, all right? As we always say, great success comes not by hocus pocus, but by focus. Have an outstanding day. See ya.
Baby, are you lonely? I hope you're feeling lonely. How could you forget?
And that's a wrap.